What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe Rating Climb. I'm going to play e4, and let's see, we get a Sicilian. So I'm going to play knight c3, and I'm going to try to play a Grand Prix attack. This is one of the openings that was recommended. Actually, I could also play bishop b5 here. But no, we'll go with the Grand Prix attack. So Grand Prix attack, you play knight c3, you play f4, and essentially your setup is gearing up for a kingside attack in the future. A lot of times you're going to throw this f pawn forward and attack them after they castle over here. Okay, so for now, let's just get both knights out. And we still have to decide about this bishop. I might go to c4, I might go to b5. I'm kind of trying to get a little more information. Okay, knight goes to f6. So here, I like the aggressive nature on f7, but then they usually play e6. So I think in this case, I am just going to pin the knight. Bishop d7, and let me go ahead and castle. And okay, they are going to go with g6, probably bishop g7 and castles. So we're going to play d3. And when you play the Grand Prix attack, usually the plan is going to be to go queen to e1. Now, this knight sometimes is a bit annoying and it jumps in here. So I think what I'm actually going to do is take that and then play queen e1. Now I don't have to worry about a knight jumping in here. Okay, now you do have to worry about the bishop, but that's generally okay. And notice my bishop, my queen is now coming over. My rook can come up and over. And I've got these pawns. And a lot of times the knight can jump forward. Okay. So I believe we're going to play f5 here. Now let me just think about that. Or do I want to start with queen h4 actually? Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and get the queen out there first. And then we'll play f5. And the reason we want to play f5 is primarily because it opens up the bishop. And in a lot of cases, it opens up the rook. Okay, so we're just setting up for the attack. By the way, this is called the Grand Prix attack against the Sicilian. ChessMood has a course on it. Okay, this whole month I'm doing a collab with ChessMood essentially. So if you're watching this in the month of May, click the link in the description. You get all their courses for free. They're being super generous to give you guys that. And they have a course where they teach you a whole system with white. And the opening against the Sicilian is called the Grand Prix attack. So if you want all the details and all the, the concepts and all the different lines, make sure you go check that out. But I'm leaning towards f5 now, and I'm totally going to sack there, I think. Let me just see if there's any other option. No, I'm pretty sure this is the moment. So we're going to play f5, unleash the bishop. I expect they're going to play g5, and then I think I'm going to sack. It's a question of which piece. Do I want to sack my knight and end up with a bishop and a queen over there? Or do I want to sack the bishop and end up with a knight? They both look very good, actually. They both look very good. I'll sack the knight. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I like having the knight because it does threaten here, but it's already defended, and I like being able to trade that and maybe bring my rook over. So I think we will start with this guy and then come in with the bishop. And I already talked about it, right? But this f-pawn, because it's up, my rook has clear access to do a rook lift. Very powerful way to attack the king. So even though we're down a piece, I think practically, ooh, do you guys see the problem with that move? Okay, hopefully you noticed we do have a battery here and they're just allowing me to get a fork. So that looks like a pretty big mistake, and I probably will take the material at this point. I could also continue with the same plan of just getting the rook up there immediately, but this looks like a pretty nice, this looks like a pretty nice tactic. I think I will take advantage of this. So let's go ahead and jump in there with a fork. Now, it's still going to be interesting if I end up taking this, because we're going to have the two bishops against the rook, which is still not bad for black, but the big problem that they're going to have is their king is not safe because they don't have the pawns in front, right? So let's see what they're going to do. Maybe just move the queen out somewhere would probably make sense. Queen d7, I guess they could do. I think bishop f6 trying to get fancy is a bad move. Yeah, you could think about that if you want, but we have a nice little tactic there. I doubt we'll see that move. If we do, I'll be taking their queen. They have to take my queen, and then I take the bishop back. Okay, and I end up getting my piece back. It'll be 2 against 2, and we have some extra pawns. So they can't go bishop f6. So yeah, I'm expecting to just move the queen like somewhere here. Maybe try to attack. Okay, they go with d7, which defends their pawn. So yeah, now I think we take this. Now there's another option here, which is f6. And that actually, now that I look at it, if they have to go in the corner, the game is over. Queen g3 is literally just checkmate. So we would actually be winning bishop, I think. Let's say they move their rook, though. If I take the bishop, I lose my bishop, so it's not that simple. Let's say f6 here, and then queen. Well, they have no way to save their bishop. Wow. Can they bring the queen over to help? No, not in time. Okay, so here's what's going on, guys. This is really important. I think that you understand this position. So, of course, we could take the rook. Bishop for rook is a good trade. But remember, we sacked the piece earlier. We sacked our knight, right? So if we make this trade, let's say they take back with one of these pieces. They have a lot of options. What's the situation? Well, we have a rook, and we have, looks like, 2 pawns for the 2 bishops. That's not bad for us, but it's also not that good. Like, 2 bishops can be very powerful. Now, their king is still exposed, so I would be happy if I had to do that. However, if I play the move f6 and I force them to go back here, well, obviously checkmate, queen g3 checkmate is going to be much better. Okay? And if we end up just getting a free piece, that's also even better, because then we're not even going to be down any material. They won't have the bishops for the rooks. We'll just be up 2 pawns. So even though this is a good move, I think f6 is actually a much better move. And I'm not seeing a good defensive option for black. I'm going to go ahead and play f6. Okay? So if you don't understand that, pause and really think through it, because I think this is a critical moment where you really need to understand. I think a lot of players would just take the rook without thinking and miss an opportunity for a more powerful move. Okay, so they decide to give up the piece this way, which is fine. I'm just going to take it. I get a free piece. Now, I sacked the piece earlier, so I'm not like up a piece, but I've exposed their king. I'm not even down any material. I'm actually up a pawn. If you count, they have 6 and I have 7. And whenever you have a bishop slicing across someone's king, it's always bad news. Yeah, they don't stop anything with that move. So you guys should be able to find the move I'm going to play very, very easily here. That's correct. The king can't move, so we simply go here. Only move is going to be to block, which is only going to delay it by a couple of moves or by 1 move. And we're still going to get the checkmate. I guess they could technically delay it by 2 moves if they block with the queen and the knight. But okay, we did get a brilliant move. Let's take a look at the game review on that one. Pretty good example, I think, of how you would... Oh, 99? What? Wow. Okay. Okay. I was going to say pretty good example of how you can expect the Grand Prix attack to go. Was not expecting 99. Wow. Okay. All right. So 99. Man. D3. See, I didn't realize that taking here, maybe that was why I didn't get 100, because Stockfish would have not taken. It looks like it would have played Queen E1, but still a pretty good decision. Sacking, I chose the right sacrifice, I guess, keeping the bishop, because I was going to think about this, but that's not as good. You can see the eval bar there. Okay. Yeah, the issue for black here, guys, is like their pieces are super uncoordinated, right? Like the bishop can't really get over to help. These pieces are kind of awkward. The queen is sort of cut off and can't really get over. And the pawns actually do a nice job of shielding my rook to come up and over and just continue the attack. I mean, even if black didn't blunder and they play like a good move, like queen b6 would be interesting, they're still going to have some problems if I attack them, right? And Stockfish says I could probably... It really wants me to actually defend the pawn, but even if I play a move like rook f3, it's still going to be a nice attack for me, and black's going to have to be very careful with what they do. Yeah, this is an interesting line. Queen takes, rook f1 sacking the piece here, and then going bishop h6, just trying to checkmate the king. And this looks super dangerous. I mean, look at this. How do you stop this? Now, Stockfish says there's a way, but knight h7, f6 to cut off the queen from coming back. I don't know how this isn't checkmate. Knight g5, h4. I mean, this is just crazy. But if you're not using Stockfish as black, you're not going to survive this probably. You're going to get checkmated somewhere. Like we saw in the game, right? They made a mistake. Right here. They played knight h7. Okay. And then here, you know, if you do this, watch my advantage. It kind of goes away. Yeah, I have maybe a super small advantage, but it's really not that big. And so that's why finding this move f6 was critical, right? Look at the huge advantage because I was able to find that move. So you really have to understand the thought process behind why I chose that instead of taking the rook. Okay? And then, yeah, I mean, it's just over. They can't stop the checkmate. All right. Good game. It was a nice, very good demonstration of the Grand Prix attack, I feel like. Okay. Here we go. Now we're playing black. I'm going to stick with the openings that we've learned. If you haven't seen that video, go watch the video on my channel or click the link, check out the ChessMood courses. But we're going to play the Dutch. We start with e6 and we either play the French or the Dutch. Okay, and they're going to play the London. Yeah, so this is going to work out nicely for us, I think. So well, that's strange. That's very strange. They moved the bishop to f4, then to g5. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to continue with the plan. We got a free move, essentially, so we can't complain about that. Let's go bishop b7 here. We can't complain about that. And I think I'm going to go here, actually, and force them to trade. Get the bishop pair. Yeah, I think I will. You have to be a little careful because you do create some weaknesses, but white's not in a position to take advantage of that. So I think it's okay. And I'll just capture with my queen here. Yeah. And by the way, if they would have gone back, I could have trapped the bishop with g5 and then f4. See that? It would have been a little tricky because the queen could have come in. I would have to move my king. So that would have been interesting, but I would have at least been able to win a piece if I wanted to. Instead, we get this. All right. And I think I'm just going to take it. Yeah, this is interesting. Actually, I don't have to take it. If I take, the knight comes up. I don't really want to give up that bishop. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe just leaving that, playing something like g6 to support and get my bishop over here. Yeah, only because I don't think I want to let the knight just jump into such a nice square. Yeah, I think I will play g6 here. Generally speaking, if their knights are jumping forward into the center and attacking things, you don't want to let them do that. Now I kind of have a tough decision. This way we do open up this diagonal. Don't think that's a huge deal. If I ever needed to, I could play d5. This way we open up here and also the g file. I don't know where their king is going. It kind of looks like it's going this way. So I have to be careful if a rook lands here right away. So maybe we should take this way. Yeah, I will. I will do it. Interesting opening that our opponent is doing. I don't really exactly know what's going on. So we'll just have to see if we can figure out how to get into a good position here. Okay, I'd like to develop, let's see, these pieces. Yeah, it looks like maybe just bishop g7. And I could castle here if I want. I'm still waiting. I could also castle the other way. Yeah, they do go that way. Okay. So normally I'm going to play d6 and put my knight here. But in this position, I'm hesitant because I don't like this. And I give myself a weakness here. So I have to be a little bit careful. That's why I'm pausing here, guys. I have to be a little bit careful with that. Maybe it's fine, but maybe it's not fine. Yeah, I'm going to just go knight c6. I don't want to weaken this right at this moment. Okay, they're going to try to fiend Keto over here. I think I will just castle. I feel like my king is safer over here right now. We kind of weakened. All right, we kind of weakened the king side here, and so that's why I'm castling this way. Okay, bishop g2. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do, and I probably should have done this sooner, but I'm going to play h5. I probably should have played h5 earlier, and I could have immediately put my bishop there. I had actually wasted a move doing it this way, but I kind of like this diagonal for my bishop. It just seems like it's a little bit more effective. I think I'm going to put my rook here and get ready to maybe play f4 and line up on this bishop here. Okay, so if we do it now, what happens? Well, they can't take me because we take the bishop. If they leave it and do nothing, I'm going to win a pawn. I don't know what else they would play. Doesn't look like an easy... knight e4. They probably play knight e4. Okay, so f4, knight e4 seems to be the move. So maybe I should move my knight back just to get some control. And then we go there. Yeah, let's do it. There is this knight e5, but I don't know. I think we can chase that away whenever we want with d6. So let's play knight e... This is a tricky position. I'm not totally sure. This is a tricky position. But I feel like this should be smart, getting some control on that e4 square. Maybe now we're threatening this. Okay, they go knight there. Okay, that looks like a mistake to me, guys. Can you see why? All right, hopefully you said bishop e4. That just looks like I can pin this. They're going to sack, and we're going to get this position. Now, I have to be careful because this could be dangerous. But I actually have the ability to go queen g6, pin the queen, which is going to force a queen trade. Which is kind of exactly what I would want in that position. So, I think it's fine. The other thing that I could do is just continue with my plan of f4, which actually doesn't look so bad either. Like, I kind of wonder if that's even better than allowing this, because as soon as I allow this, no, but I can force the queen trade. It's fine. All right, let's go with the material. This will be interesting to see if Stockfish says f4 is better or not, but let's go ahead with the material that I'm going to be able to win here. I expect they're going to sack their rook here. Interesting move. Still actually kind of dangerous for me. Huh, how about that? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and take it, I think. Now I have to be really careful about things like the bishop and the queen, because I could easily get checkmated here. So what I'm leaning towards is d5. Just shut down that diagonal, gives my king a place to run to. Yes, we have a weakness here, but I think I'd rather deal with that than get checkmated. So let's do it. Let's play d5. Shut down at least one problem for now. Okay, they do jump in with their knight. Let's check where can it go. Okay, I don't see anything immediately. Actually, no, this is a problem. Yeah, this could be a problem. So maybe we go king b7 here. Let's go king b7. Trying to keep the queen from coming in. So I'm using my king to help support these light square weaknesses. Okay, they're trying to come in anyway, but this is covered. So now I can probably play something like a6 and be okay. Or c6 even. Depending on how I want to do it. c6 gives up this square. That's not really a big deal yet. Let's go c6 instead. Maybe a6 is also possible, but I like this one because it gives me a little more support in the center. Okay, so they go backwards, and now might be time to continue with my plan here, and I think it is. We go with f4, and we're going to just kind of bust through here because they can't take because of the bishop. Okay? I think we've neutralized the threat. We've transitioned some pawns. By the way, like if you're ever struggling on a certain color square, like the light squares, by switching your pawns to those colors, you all of a sudden get a lot of control, right? And it really helps you with those weaknesses. And my king is helping too. Yeah, he wants to go here. I mean, that's fine, I think. Let's just keep attacking. This isn't a huge deal. And now I'm busting through. White has some serious threats that they have to deal with. Okay. I could play a5 to stop this. I don't know if it's necessary because what's the worst that could happen? They trade me or they push and I just take it and then I go back. I don't think that's a huge deal. So I'm probably going to leave that and maybe focus on trading some pieces. Yeah, let me go here, see if I can get rid of this bishop for this knight. Okay, let's go ahead and make that trade. Of course, when you're ahead of material, trading gets you closer to the end game, and that's generally what you want to do. So that's why I'm taking here. They're probably going to jump in with the knight, I would expect. I think taking by anything else is a mistake. Pretty sure they have to do this. Okay. And now I'm thinking we can start trying to be annoying here. So I'm attacking the rook, but I'm also setting up a follow-up move. Do you guys see the follow-up move? Hopefully you said rook g1. Rook g1 would force a trade. I'd get rid of this rook and also expose the back rank to the white king. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here and force this to happen. And then maybe we bring the other rook over and we come down again. Doesn't look like white has any attack here, really. I mean, that's not a big deal. I think we just probably just take it. Don't see anything happening there, so no problem. Okay, so they want to jump in with the knight. That would be a little bit annoying, so let's go ahead and trade now with the check. Just to get the queen away from my king. And I think I'm going to grab the pawn, defend, attack, and win a pawn all at the same time. Looks pretty good. The queen can't really leave unless they're willing to sack their bishop. Okay. They're going to get the pawn. That's okay. I don't need that pawn necessarily. I think I would rather focus on activating a piece. I mean, I could defend it. Actually, maybe that's not crazy. Maybe that's not actually crazy. The reason I say that is because if I move my queen, I can start pushing this pawn, and that might be a pretty serious threat. I do think I should avoid this, though. So let's think about the best way to do that. Just sidestep with the king, probably. Okay, so we'll sidestep that. Yeah, they want to come down. Knight's under attack. We can stop it. Okay, knights are usually very good defenders of when your king is being hunted by a queen. If you have a knight nearby, usually you can use it to help your king, and you're probably going to see that. I mean, already we're seeing it's doing a great job of stopping the queen from coming in. Okay, he's trying to be tricky. We do have a check if we need it. Let's go with the check. Now, I don't know if I have time for this. It's a great plan, but if I get checkmated with the queen and the knight, it doesn't matter, right? So I think I'm going to play a little bit of defense right now, and we've got this whenever we want it. We just have to make sure we don't get checkmated. So I'm just going to position my queen to come back and help me defend. Okay? For example, if they attack me, I will be able to defend. I think that's important. And then we'll push this later. Right? So they are attacking that, like I just mentioned. And so I think now's a good time to defend it. So there we go. Defend the threat. Actually, I'm threatening here, which is very nice because once the queens are gone, my king is totally safe, right? Once the queens are gone, we're good. So this is the biggest threat on the board right now. Okay, everything's defended. So I'm going to push the pawn. And I need 3 moves to get a queen here. I don't see that white has anything, right? Because, ooh. Wow. I did not consider that, guys. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Did I just blunder the game? Is it checkmate? Let's see. Check here. Check here. Wow, that was a great move. I didn't see that at all. That was a great move. Doesn't look like it's checkmate unless I'm missing it. But now it's tough. Yeah, that was a good move. That was a very good move. I missed it. Now I'm trying to hold on. The knight's coming in. I have to go here. Check. Yeah, I might be getting mated, guys, unfortunately. Here, that's mate. So here I have to go up. Is it mate? Check here. Wow. Yeah, I think it is mate. I think it is mate. There's going to be mate with like a pawn, unfortunately. Yeah, I messed this up. Or, oh, maybe not. Maybe I can go king here first, actually. Oh, wait a second. Because if I went there, it was definitely mated. But here, if you play it now, my king actually maybe can escape? Well, this is wild. This is wild if I get away here. So b4, we run. Because queen c6 would be mate, but it's not. Wow. What is happening? Okay. If they check me and I go here... Oh, this is crazy. Let's see. This is really crazy. They go with that move. The other problem is not losing on time. We have two problems now. Not getting checkmated and not losing on time. I need 3 moves. I'm going to flag if I don't take the draw, guys, because I don't see how I'm getting out of this. I'm pretty sure I messed that up. I missed bishop e2. That was a great move. That was a great move. And the only reason I took the draw is because I was going to flag. I think if I had more time, I would have tried to win that. But yeah, let's see. I'm sure Stockfish can tell me what I did wrong. Okay, so there was this moment in the game. Let's see what that was. So they actually, I don't know what the opening was. I don't know what this bishop f4 g5 thing was. That was super weird, but had a pretty equal game for most of the game. And then let's see. We played bishop e4. Oh, look at that. You know what the best move was, guys? f4. Just my original plan. Just ignoring the tactic here. Just going for the plan. Keeping the bishop was so valuable. And I had a feeling too. Sure enough, yeah, bishop e4, not the greatest choice. No, I was totally in the driver's seat here, though. Totally in the driver's seat. So where did it go wrong? Surely, yeah, this was easy win. Let's see, what did I do? Knight c8, good move, yep. Queen f1, good move. Wow, I played a lot of good moves. So it was like all at one moment. Queen b5, good move. That was it. Look at that. Look at that. Pushing the pawn was the critical problem. I needed to go rook g8. I needed to get this rook in the game right away. So basically, like, this plan was too slow, right? I mean, 4 moves is a lot of moves when your king is being hunted, even though I was temporarily safe. I should have taken that moment, activate my rook. Now I have some serious threats on white's king. They don't have time to get fancy with tactics to attack me because of this kind of stuff. That was a mistake. Now, they played the wrong move, apparently. They needed to play c4, which, okay, I can't move my queen away because they're going to take here. And I get mated like that. Or there must be a mate over here. No, wait, did I misplay that? Where's the mate? Bishop e2. This is a disgusting move. There's no checks, and you're lining up on me, and I can't stop it. I can't stop it because you just say, wow, this is crazy. And then I'm getting mated here somehow, or losing my queen, yeah. Wow, okay. So all that to say, c4 was the winning move. They played bishop e2, which was a losing move. And I almost found the way out. I did. What did I do wrong? Right there. I had to go queen f1 check. And then queen c4 check. Oh, it's a queen. It forces a queen trade. Oh, wow. Wow. And if they would have gone here, queen e2 check, and king a4, I run this way and I escape. Somehow I escape. What's the move here? Oh, again, queen c4 check with. So they can never bring their king there. And if they try to check me, I come up here, and now I actually checkmate white's king. Wow. What a wild end game. That is crazy, guys. That was something else. Good. I mean, it's a good example of how dangerous it is when your king is around like a queen and a knight. The queens and knights are very powerful, and the bishop got involved too, and somehow white's king was safe. Man, what a game. That was something else. All right. Huh. All right, well, let's play another one. Or not. We won't play another one. Oh, yeah, black. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, this time we're going to get a French. Okay. They do push. Okay, so if you remember from the video, we played bishop d7. Remember, links in the description, guys. Go check it out. It's totally free. Go check it out. Watch the videos. You'll learn all this stuff. We play bishop d7 and a6. This is his Grandmaster Avatek's recommendation. And what we're doing is trying to get rid of our bad bishop, right? We have a bad bishop stuck behind the pawn chain. We're going to move it out here and trade it for white's good bishop. Really super simple plan. And the thing is, this is like a normal French move, so it's kind of useful in other situations. This is also normal. I actually recently looked at these lines. So I know for a fact this is bad for white. And the reason is, after we take, this guy is a target. You've given up your supporting pawn for this pawn. So now I can go bishop c6 and look at this. Also, my bad bishop is now a monster. And white's bishop's kind of like, eh, whatever, you know? So that's why c4 generally is not the right plan for white, I think. So already, we're on move 6. We're in a pretty good position. This is why it actually is helpful to, listen when grandmasters teach you stuff. Okay. So if I remember, this knight should go to f5. And this knight should go to b6. I think I'm going to go here. Make sure, I don't want to let this guy push this pawn. Okay, this is my target. So I'm going to make sure this target doesn't go anywhere. So that's why we're putting this guy here. Then I'll probably reroute here. Again, similar idea. A tempo on the bishop, and we keep control over this backward pawn. This is a backward pawn. We're going to go knight b6. I guess they could push it now, actually. I didn't think about that. Can they push it now? I have 3. They have 3. What happens if they push? Takes. Knight b6. It's going to get a little interesting. Maybe I messed this up. Maybe I shouldn't have given them this opportunity. Well, I don't know how I would have stopped that. Maybe I could have played knight d7 and then pinned this with bishop. We'll have to look. We'll have to check. I'm not totally sure if they play d5 here. What's happening? Also, this guy is going to be weak too. That's another thing to think about. Yep, there you go. Well, I think our options are pretty much limited here because our bishop's under attack. So I think we have to take this. Question is, which way? It's like with the pawn. They're going to take back either way, yeah. And then we're definitely going to do this because we want to open up our bishop. And now it's a question of, you know what? I think this is a good move because if you have to block, for example, with the knight, you cut off the queen. Or the bishop, you cut off the queen. That would be a trade, though. I still think it's a good move because it lets me castle quickly if I need to. So we'll go ahead. I think they're going to play bishop d2. I mean, you don't want to play king f1, then you can't castle. So I think they're going to go bishop d2 here. And then I have to decide, do I trade and trade? Do I take and allow this? Probably not. Although I could play c5. No, then I lose my... No. Okay. Yeah, bishop d2, I think we have to trade it. I think we have to trade it. So it's somehow it feels like I let them slip away here. And we'll have to check this because I don't feel like they should have gotten into such a good position out of that opening. But here we are. Yeah, sometimes it happens. I mean, my position is not bad, but I felt like we had an even better position and maybe I misplayed this. c6. No. The reason we can't play c6 is because of queen d6, I think. We do not want to allow that. Yeah, no. So what we're going to do here, guys, is that we're going to castle. This is important. We can't let our king get stuck here with the queen, the knight, the pawn, and we got to get that guy to safety. If you're wondering about this, not a concern to me because I would play rook b8 and I would come and invade. Yes, I would sack a pawn, but then I get this really active rook. Probably worth it. Now I'm going to play c6, not let the queen come here. Now queen d6 is not as powerful because my king is already castled, right? So it doesn't stop me from castling like before. Now if they go there, I'll probably just move my knight. Maybe we trade queens. Okay, no, they go here instead. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of that. Or queen b6. Queen b6 looks pretty good too. Yeah, we'll go queen b6. Let's trade if they want to trade. I think this e5 pawn looks a bit overextended. Maybe that's an easy target for me. And I don't really have any targets. All my pawns are kind of nice and protected back here. So I think if we trade, I'm happy with that. Also, this d5 square is a nice outpost for my knight. And it'll be able to jump right in. Maybe c4 could be a good move too. Rook's coming here and here. Yeah, I think this is smart. They do trade the queens. Nice thing about my knight is it also stops the rook from invading, which is pretty nice as well. So definitely it's going to be one of these two moves. Question is which one? Because if I go here and they end up taking, we might waste some time. They offered a draw. I'm going to say no thanks because I think we have a better position. Yeah, I think I'm going to go here. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. I think I'm going to go here, move my rook up, and double up like this. And then I have control over the 7 so they can't invade. I also have lots of pressure on that weak pawn. And my knight is ready to jump wherever I want it to at any moment, right? Like any of these squares are fair game. And we'll have the two rooks lined up. And we won't really have any weaknesses for white to attack because we'll have our 7th rank controlled. Yep, that absolutely looks like the plan. And I'm also keeping an eye on like knight moves. You know, I'm not going here where I could get attacked by the knight, things like that, right? Now, of course, if they really want to try, they could, and then maybe I would play g6 or something, but yeah. So you'll notice I've got the 3 against 2, and white has the 4 against 3. We already talked about how this is kind of a weakness. But the other thing is, like, if you imagine if all these pieces got traded and we just start pushing our pawns, I'd be able to create a pass pawn on this side of the board, which would kind of lure white's king away, and then maybe my king could come and just take all these pawns. So I like that, actually. I like having this queen side majority when the kings are on the other side of the board. He's trying to take away some squares from my knight. I'm going to continue with the plan, get everybody in position, and now we can start thinking about attacking this pawn and maybe just winning a pawn. Okay, so 2 options. Sink the knight on a nice square, or just try to win the pawn. So let's see what happens with the obvious win the pawn. We go here. We're just going to take it. I don't know what white's going to do. If they push, I simply take with the pawn. And we don't lose anything there. Yeah, I think we just go here and win a pawn. That's what I think. Okay, we can't take with the rook because of this. Well, he would trade first, and then he would take my knight. So we take here. Now, generally speaking, rook endings are going to be more drawish. 2 rooks, maybe not as much as 1 rook. But I think leaving the knights on the board is going to probably benefit me. Although, I don't know. We have the 3 against 2. So we could probably get away with trading here. But since I have a nice outpost, I think I'm going to keep the knight on the board and just sink my knight here for now. I think that's the right decision. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. This is a really great square. I mean, it stops the rook from invading. It's super well defended. It's threatening lots of squares in my opponent's territory. And I mean, this is pretty good for white too. I will say that. But okay, we don't want to get forked. Maybe I stop that. Yeah, we'll go here because I do want to bring my king in and I don't want to walk into a fork. Okay, so I'm just making sure that that's going to be safe for my king. Could also consider something like this, just trying to like undermine some of these pawns and maybe open the way for my rooks to get in. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that right now. Get ready to play g5 here. If they attack me, I'll probably just drop my knight back. Okay, let's go g5 now. Okay. Okay, let's defend the pawn. Maybe he wants to go here. I could bring my king up to stop that. Why not? I want to bring my king up anyway. Also, this pattern with the diagonal space in between It's hard for the knight to check my king, right? It's going to take 1, 2, 3 moves at a minimum to check me. Okay. Where do I defend this? I don't want to go here because I'm afraid of the rooks, right? I think I have to go here. Just to keep my king safe and away from danger. Yeah, I was going to play rook d5, but now I'm concerned about knight g5. I'm concerned about knight g5. So I'll use this rook. The reason I chose this rook is because this guy has a nice future here, I think. He's got some important work to do. Okay, this guy was just sitting behind a pawn, which is already defended by my knight. So that's why I chose this one to defend. And now this guy's going to come in and start taking stuff. What does that do? He wants to go h4 or something. I don't think that's a concern. Let's go on the offensive finally. I think now is the time. Okay, so he wants to trade. I'm going to go over. It looks like a fork, but it's not really a fork because I can just take. So I'm not losing a rook if he goes there. All right? So just nobody panic. Nobody panic. Okay, he does do it. We will take. Now we do need to save the rook. We have to watch out for the checks. I'm going to go here because if you can cut off their king, that's really, really good. All right? The king is actually a very good piece at the end of the game. It's good at defending pawns, attacking pawns, controlling important squares. When you have a cut off out of the game, that's good news. Okay, let's go over. Keep my pawn defended. And I think I'm going to run up now. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you're looking at stuff like this and like this. But if the rook moves, I take the knight. If the pawn moved, I was going to just keep going up. Yeah, I think it's time to get my knight into the game. A little bit of a tricky position here, so we have to be careful, but I don't see any mating nets like with the rook and the pawn and the knight that I have to worry about. It's very difficult when my king is in such a centralized location. I have lots of places to escape from, so I'm not worried about that. I am looking for fork patterns, but my rook is fine right now, and so I think we're good, especially when everything's defended. I mean, there's only so much that can go wrong when everything's defended, right? The worst case would be somehow maybe I blunder this pawn if I'm not paying attention, but as long as I'm being aggressive, I have other stuff to attack. My knight comes in, it's going to be fine, even if we end up losing that pawn. Now, if my king was like on the edge of the board or in the corner, it's a different story. It's a lot easier to get checkmated by a rook, a knight, and a pawn in those situations. But here, I think we're okay. Okay, I'm almost leaning to just come over here and like maybe take this pawn. Yeah, I think that's probably a good plan. I don't really see what I have to worry about. Okay, so we could go this way, but then we're going to lose a pawn. This way. But that's where it gets a little bit risky because the knight checks me and I have to be a bit careful. This way looks like the safest option. So let me go here. Right, right. Now if I go here, check. Here, there's no mate because I could take the pawn, but I don't know if I want to do that. If I go here, the rook comes down, I go here. Don't think I want to allow that either. Here, check, and then I run. What if I do that? Maybe that's the best. Yeah, let's do that because he can't check me now because of knight. This check, then I come up here. Yeah, we'll just do this little dance. I think it's going to work out for us. Okay, the problem with that move is you now allow my knight to just totally shut out your rook. Okay. And that's got to be good for me. Ooh, okay, check. Or check. Or check. Wow. Check here takes. He's going to come down. Alternative, no. I could go here and attack the knight. Check. Check, check. Wow, what an interesting position. You check. Well, I'm gonna have to make a move, so I'm gonna go with this line just because I don't want to like lose on time. But I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. He goes back. Okay. Let me attack the knight now. And the rook can't leave. Okay, he didn't notice this, but the rook couldn't leave because of checkmate. So we just take the knight now. Yeah. Okay. So now we're just up a piece. We just kind of get my rook in a good position here. Oh, I had a fork. I had a fork. I had another fork. It's all right. We don't need it. We don't need it. Take that. Let me defend. Make sure it's not stalemate. Okay. Make sure it's on stalemate. Okay. So yeah, tough end game there. I will say that. Let's see what Fish has to say. 87, 80. Okay, yeah, so we played pretty well. Never really were in trouble except for one moment right there. Interesting. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. So we played the bishop d7, the a6. We captured it. Great. Bishop c6. So we had a nice position. So I guess it's not as good as I thought, but still, if you're black and you get an equal position in a couple of moves, that's good. That's all you can expect because white generally has a small advantage anyway, right? So yeah, so we actually did the right thing. This is actually not good for white. And bishop b4 check. Takes. Ah, I missed a tactic right here. If you guys want to pause, great moment to work on your tactics. And I totally missed it. It's a tricky one. All right, if you had a chance to look, it's a tricky one. Knight takes e5. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're giving up our knight for free. Why? Because if white takes us, we also were unleashing our queen, and we simply can take back either way, but Stockfish likes taking with the bishop, and we just won a pawn. That pawn that we spent like the whole game trying to figure out how to win, we just won it in one simple tactic. And the game goes on. I don't know, they probably castle, we castle, whatever. 3 against 2, we're great. If they take here with check first, we don't take this way, because then we lose our knight. But we take with the knight, and we save the knight, and we got the pawn. And it's game goes on, but we're happy, and we're up a pawn. So really, really clever tactic there, which was not on my radar. And that is why this was a bad line for white. So, and we had to throw in the check, I think, to make it work. Did we? If we play knight takes e5 now... No, it still works, actually. It still works, but for some reason, it's better to actually trade these bishops. Makes sense, right? This is a bad bishop blocking me from castling. This is a pretty good bishop. So if you have the choice to throw in a check and force white to trade, you may as well do it, right? Yeah, okay. And then we go for the tactic, which I missed, and we're in a great position. So that's, yeah. Opening was fine. I just missed the tactic. Okay. And guys, if you want to see all the lines, click the link. Go check it out. The ChessMood courses are free for the month of May. So go before you run out of time. There's some really good courses over there. Like, I'm generally biased toward my own courses, but they have a lot there by grandmasters, so you can get some more advanced stuff. And so if you're looking for that, definitely go check it out. Okay. let's go. Last game here, guys. We'll play e4. Okay, Sicilian. I guess we'll play it again. I guess we'll try it again. It worked out for us last time. Can't complain with a 99 accuracy game. So we'll get the pawn out there. Get the knights out first. Okay, bit of a weird move, but I'm going to go bishop b5 again. Just probably going to trade that bishop off. Okay, they're going to force me to do it. Totally fine. Let's play d3. So this is our typical setup. All right, so they're approaching this a little bit differently, right? Last time we kind of saw if they played g6 and just simply castle. That's kind of like the dream when you play the Grand Prix. You just get to attack, and it's usually pretty straightforward. This is a little bit more tricky, I feel like. Now, I don't remember the theory, so I don't know this exactly, but I think we're still fine if they take us, because then their pawns are going to be totally messed up, right? If this pawn ever takes. So I don't think we have to worry about that. If it pushes, I also don't feel like it's too big of a deal. We can just jump our knight around, even just go back and reroute the knight would be fine. So having considered that, I'm just going to castle. I'm not going to do anything here because I don't want to take and let them fix their pawns, right? You see that? If I take here, they take back. Then all of a sudden their pawns are nice and beautiful. They have no doubled pawns anymore. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. Let them take me if they want. Now, I am going to consider this because it's a tempo on the knight. But I think I would rather just kind of keep it. And again, let's go queen e1. Very, very common maneuver. Sets me up for a nice kingside attack over here. Okay, and now they decide to take. Not a big deal. We take back with the pawn, keeping these nice pawns in the center, controlling all these important squares. Okay. And like I talked about, look at these guys. Endgame, black's going to be in trouble. They've got some serious weaknesses. So we can just kind of keep an eye on those as the game goes on. I feel like this is a good moment to just kind of pause and think through. What are our options? We could jump our knight in. It's a cheap threat that's pretty easy to deal with. I don't know if the plan of f5 in this particular position is still as powerful. I could go with queen h4 and maybe try to jump my knight in and generate an attack, or queen g3. I'd love to be able to get my rook here, maybe. That looks like it might be pretty good. So we could consider something like bishop e3. The knight move coming in could be annoying, though. That could be annoying. Okay, so here's an idea, guys. I don't know if it's a good idea, but what if I play knight e5? Let's make sure there is a check here, but we have bishop e3, which would be a very annoying move. Yeah, we're fine. So I'm going to go here, force them to defend. I'm expecting bishop b7, queen b6, queen c7. But then there's no knight g4, and maybe now I just develop my bishop, and then my rook is ready. Something like this. Or maybe I do a rook lift, you know? I got the knight out of the way, maybe we do a rook lift. But let's see how black's going to do with the threat here first. I would be expecting this move. Yeah, there's also knight a4, just really attacking the queen. Where's the queen going to go? Where's the queen going to go? b5, I guess? And we play b3 and get ready to play. Oh, you know what, guys? No, it doesn't work. Okay. Well, there's some interesting lines here. Oh, okay, they want to go for a, oh, I see. Wow, interesting move. They want me to take it so they can fork me. But what if I just go bishop e3 like I wanted to do anyway? What happens? Yeah, what happens there? I could also just take this. And if they fork me, go back here. But then they can come in here with this knight. Yeah, I think we go bishop e3. We wanted to develop the piece. This is a great diagonal. Helps protect my king. And now I am threatening to take both of these, and there is no longer any forks. Okay, so I think this is a good move. Let's see. Okay, so they defend one, but what about this guy, right? We just take a pawn, as far as I can tell. We just take a pawn, and already We're seeing those weaknesses, right? Let's make sure there's no tactics. Nope, nope, not seeing any. All right, got the pawn. Also, I'm liking this b6 square. Look at this. I am liking that one. So, if we jump in with the knight, they just move their rook. Now we have to deal with the threat. Don't see a good follow-up. If we jump in with the bishop, queen has to move. That looks pretty awkward. And we have an attack. And I could follow it up with a queen move to defend if I need more support. I think that's a pretty good move. Also, notice I'm not waiting around for this to happen. I'm being aggressive and putting the pressure on my opponent. Yeah, now we have to be careful because bishop a6 is what's coming next, I think. Yeah, bishop a6. Yeah, we have to be careful. I don't think we can take this because bishop a6 is has a problem. I kind of want to push just to get control over the... I don't know if that's the right decision. I kind of want to push, jump my knight in, and jump my other knight in. That's what I'm thinking. The other thing would be to play b3. Go ahead and defend it ahead of time because we know what's coming, and then we can figure out how to save our bishop. There, knight d5 takes... No, that's a problem. Knight d5 is kind of an annoying move too. Okay, the other thing I could do is just move my bishop back. Maybe that's just the simplest. Just get away from the attack, and then when this happens, we can just defend our knight. Yeah, bishop a6 though. This is a strong move actually. Well, I kind of underestimated this a little bit, guys. I kind of underestimated it. Yeah. What a very good move. Okay. I'm not sure what to do. I guess I'll go b3. I feel like I have to play this move at some point anyway because he's going to go bishop a6 unless I'm willing to sack my rook, which honestly might be the easiest and simplest thing. Just move the knight somewhere, let him take it, and just keep attacking, you know? Got to get the bishop because he's going to trade and then take my bishop. You guys see that? That's what's going to happen. So let's go. Let's get away from that. Queen. I don't like this, but unfortunately, I didn't see another option. Maybe Stockfish had some crazy idea, but I didn't see it. So here we are. Good news is we still have a pawn. We do have 3 against 2. The problem is that it's hard to make use of these pawns in an endgame. Takes 94, but then this guy, yeah, that's a problem there. So we could defend this with queen e2. Yeah, we'll just defend. I mean, I think that's okay. Maybe now we can play rook b1 and get the file. Goes bishop c5. Okay. Probably should just take that. Otherwise, this is a pretty powerful move. Yeah. Let's take it. Move our king. And we have to watch out for the knight, but it can't go there right now. And even if it did, we've got it covered. But you got to be careful. Queen and a knight could very easily set up a smothered checkmate if you're not paying attention. Don't think we're there just yet. Plays e5. Okay. My instinct says I should just push by or get a file. I'm just going to push by. I don't want to overthink it. And next move, we'll get the file. Okay, I'm just countering the file that black has control over. Yeah. Just trying to take my pawn. But if I take, what happens? I have to retreat my knight or go to a4. It's kind of ugly. Kind of ugly. But probably have to do it. I think we're going to maybe relocate the knight here to defend this guy or to d3. So let's go back. Let's make sure. Am I losing any pawns? Oh, you know what? Rook e8 is going to be an annoying move. Rook e8 is a very annoying move. I could try knight a4. I'm just not sure what's happening after queen goes here. I don't think I have a move. I don't think I can go there. Yeah, this is not ideal, but we may have to go with this line. Not what I wanted. He's going to play rook e8. The reason I'm not happy about this, guys, is because the pin. Okay, he's going to sack his queen, win a pawn, and invade with his rook, and we're in a bad situation if that happens. Oh, didn't do it. Okay. Well, maybe we're not... Ooh, that's a sneaky tactic. You guys see that? Ooh. If we move our knight, we lose the rook there. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's a good one. That actually is a good move. Ooh. I have to play rook b1. I have to stop that and lose the pawn. Oh, man. Yeah, we're falling apart here, guys. We're losing this game. Okay, we can force a trade. I think we should do it because we got to get out of this jam. We have to get... Wait a second. Knight f2, knight g3 wins my queen. Oh my goodness. This guy can't go here because of a fork. It's hard to move right now, my friends. It is very hard to move. Wow. What can I even do? Queen d3. He's going to take here and also put me in a bad position. Queen f3, knight d2 takes. I get checkmated. We can't do that. Wow. Maybe I have to go queen f3 and king g1. Or maybe I go king g1 first. Okay, we'll go king g1. We're just getting outplayed. We're just getting outplayed. That's all there is to it. I don't even know. The queen and knight are just destroying us, and our knight's terrible. Our knight can't even move. There's a fork, yeah. Let's try to get some counterplay going here. Going here, I'm giving up the pawn because I want to bring my king this way if I can. I think we have to try to make something happen here with this c pawn. And I only have 50 seconds, so I'm really limited here in what I can do. But we're going to make an effort. Had to avoid the fork there. Okay, we have to get this knight into the game, and the knight is too bad. So we need to get it to a more active square. Like right away. Okay, now I'll start pushing my pawn, see if we can make something happen. Good news is my king is in a great position to stop these pawns. So that's the only kind of silver lining here. If there's a silver lining in this position. But I still don't know if we're going to survive. But I'll do my best to put up a fight. Let's push this. This guy seems very strong, though. Like, he seems like a very good player. Unless I'm just missing things, but it doesn't feel like... It feels like we've just been getting outplayed this whole game. I don't know how we're going to get this pawn to become a queen. I don't know how we're going to do that. Wow, another good move. Oh, wait, can I do this? Can I do that? Wait, what? 95? Wow. Yeah, this is over, I think. I think this is over. Because we can't ever really get here to get the pawn. There's nothing we can do about this. Not to mention we're losing on time too, but kind of have to pre-move a little bit here. Wait, did they give me a chance? They might have given me a sliver of hope. They might have given me a sliver of hope, guys. Oh my. How did this happen? Oh, I forgot about that. I was thinking I was going to checkmate the king. Oh no. What just happened? What just happened? Okay, I have two questions about that game. Number one, was that person extremely strong? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Hold up. Time to do the check. Oh, it's a new account. Okay. Okay, it's a rice cooker. That makes total sense. It's a rice cooker that started playing on their own at the very end, and I almost came back. Okay, that's what it is. They played a perfect game until the end, and they started making some mistakes. All right, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense actually. So okay, opening moves usually don't matter too much. It's when you get in the middle game and things start happening. Yeah, C4 is the best move, guys. C4 is top engine move, which looks kind of ridiculous, but okay, there's some ideas. Queen C7 best move, A5 best move, Queen B8 best move, Bishop A6 best move, takes best move, Queen B. Yeah, literally every single move is stockfish. Bishop C5 best move, E5 best move. No wonder I felt like I was getting squeezed. Best move, best move, best move. Yeah, every single move, guys. Every single move for the whole game. Until the end when they thought they could win and they blundered the queen. This gets old. I just get tired of these kind of games. Yeah. So somewhere around here they started playing on their own. Not sure exactly. It was probably around here. Yeah, it's probably here they thought they had it and didn't realize that it was check. And it's amazing, right? When the person starts playing for real, like how quickly they make mistakes. And I just blundered it too, but I was winning. If I would have just moved here, game over. I just win, bring my queen back, or take the pawns. Yeah, I should have won. Still going to report, though. Because that's clearly rice cooker. I haven't had to update the rice in a while, though. Let me just see if they've lost any games. Whoa. That's a lot of green wins. What's her record? Rapid Games, 125 wins, 32 losses. They started in March as a 999 and just have been skyrocketing up in these few months. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we end it there. We ended on the rice cooker that I was beating that I blundered the skewer. That's a pretty funny game. No, this player knows a little bit. Like you could tell they knew a little bit here at the end to play on their own, but hard to say like what their actual rating is. But the fact that they missed this is pretty bad. That they didn't see that the queen was hitting the, I mean, yeah. Anyway, surviving 58 moves and actually winning against a rice cooker, I'm pretty proud of how that went down. Okay? So, and you saw when we played against a person and we played the Grand Prix how quickly they like crumbled. And then we, yeah, even to play that, I'm proud of that game. That's all I'm going to say. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Stay sharp, play smart, take care.